Hi, my name is Jay with VPN, and in this video we are going to teach Windows users and owners of our ServerMatter business server how to access the files and folders that live on their server from anywhere in the world and do it in a safe, encrypted manner. So let's give you a for instance. You're at a coffee shop, you're at home, you're at an airport, wherever. You need to access the folders and file structure that is on your server. We're not going to be using remote desktop. We're not using products like TeamViewer or Splashtop or any of those types of things. You're not actually going to see the desktop of your computer. You're only going to see the files and folders that you work with every day that live on the server. Now, your server administrator will have provided permissions for different people to access different folders, and by entering in your username and password that your company would have given you, it will automatically come up with those things you wish to access. The only thing you really require is access to the internet. So let me give you an example of how this works. Your server administrator, or perhaps us directly if we're supporting you in that way, will have provided you with two important files. One is the OpenVPN Connect Windows. It's the installation program. There's a piece of software that allows you to make that VPN connection. The other one is an OVPN file. It's actually just a textual configuration file that the first program needs. So, assuming you have those two things, we're ready to go. We're going to double click to install the OpenVPN client. Okay, quick finish when prompted. That's going to put an icon on your desktop called OpenVPN, and I think it's going to launch the program at the same time. Okay, so the program does launch itself automatically. It gives you some basic helpful information which you can scroll through to the right. Tells you what's about to happen. Work our way through that. Okay, the next thing you're going to be asked for is to provide the file in order to connect to your server. That's a file that has been prepared by us, which we talked about a little earlier, and supplied via ourselves or your server administrator. Let's click Browse and find that OVPN file. And here it is right here. It'll be VPN configuration and whatever domain name your server is hosted with. That'll load up. We'll type in your username and password. Now we're going to put in a generic one right now that we know will access the server. And if we click Save Password, it will store this information, so you won't have to do it every time you log in. We won't worry about certificate and key. Those are embedded. We won't need to add those additionally. We'll click Connect. Again, missing external certificate. We don't use an external certificate. Don't show and continue. And connected. Now you can tell we're connected by the graph on the right hand side indicating the bits and bytes that are coming and going right now. We're going to minimize that. So as we speak, we are connected to the server wherever it is in the world by using that software and that file. Now, to prove that, because the desktop hasn't changed, your computer will not look any different. Whatever files and folders you had, they're going to be there. It's not a remote desktop solution. But if we open Windows Explorer and we simply type in a couple of backslashes and the word ServerMatter, one word, and hit enter, it's going to knock on the door of that server, and the server is going to respond and say, what's your password to get in? We're going to once again, in our case, use the user called UserMatter. You're going to put in whatever credentials are correct for you, and we're going to click OK. Now, just like that, in a very transparent way, you're seeing the files and folders that are on your server wherever they are in the world. Now, one of the things I want to point out is whatever is being transferred between your local computer and that server happens through something called a VPN tunnel. It's not exposed to the rest of the world. And the data is encrypted in a way that makes it impossible to view. Okay, so VPNs, if you want to kind of get a better understanding of how they work, there's a Wikipedia article that covers it in great detail. Essentially, what it does is it provides something called a virtual private network, which is a tunnel between you and your server. And the data that passes between you and your server is encrypted. That means as soon as you access the file, it's encrypted before it leaves the server, before it's displayed on your screen. For instance, these files and folders, for you to see them here, they had to be decrypted by the VPN software on your end. If you make a change of any kind, it's saved, encrypted, sent across the wire, decrypted and stored on the server on the other end. So prying eyes can never see what's going on in the VPN environment. So it's a very secure way of accessing your server remotely. So let's go ahead and double click on one of these. You can see I can immediately get in there. If these were Excel spreadsheets or Word documents or whatever they may be, I'd be able to operate on those in real time. Make changes, save them, have them saved to the server in real time. Now, the VPN will be on all the time by default. However, if you want to turn off the VPN and subsequently your access to the server, in the lower right-hand corner, you can right-click on this Open VPN icon and choose Exit or Disconnect, and your VPN will automatically be disconnected. And there are settings in there where you can choose whether you want that VPN to connect automatically or not. One more thing that you can do with the VPN, and let's just go back into that ServerMatter, which is the server itself. Now let's say I used one of these folders quite a bit. For instance, the All Staff folder, and I want to have a drive letter that's associated. I don't want to have to type in ServerMatter and double click on the folder and all that. We can right click on the All Staff folder, whatever folder it is that's of interest to you, and choose Map Network Drive. And now we can give it any letter we want that's in here. In this case, I'll give it the letter Z, and I could make it any letter I wish, and we'll go ahead and click Finish. Now, it opens up to show us what's inside, and I'm going to close that. Click on a folder here in File Explorer, and you'll see it shows up as another hard drive. Right here we have the letter Z for All Staff, the C drive, and a few others that I have on this machine. I'll double click on it, and it treats it as though it were an actual drive letter on this machine. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've learned a lot about what VPN is and how it can help your organization. And if you currently own a ServerMatter business server, you've already got it. It's just a matter of using it. Thanks for watching.